it's important. First of all, I use only local artists. They're from the North Texas area. The artwork that's on my blog comes from our community in our area. And I feel like it's important, first of all, for kids to make the connection that all artists are not dead, and that there's people out there that are doing that still, and they're making art, and it's happening in our community, and it's amazing. And that was my first thought. And then secondly, I needed a way for the kids to look at art, critique it, talk about it, and just kind of investigate it a little more than what they can do in a 45-minute class period where they have to do production, they have to do critique, they have to do all the parts of being an artist. And this was a way for appreciation and critique kind of on their own time. Because I didn't do a whole lot of it in my classroom. They had access to it from home, access to it when they were done with their work in their classrooms. So I just gave them an opportunity to do that without eating away at our production time. At first, I only did it with 4th and 5th grade, so it's our bigger kids. And at first, it was totally foreign to them. They weren't quite sure how to answer the questions or how to look at it, and so it was kind of a chore. But then as I continued to do it with my kids, like this is the 3rd year in this building. The first year was rough, the first few weeks were rough, and the second round of it was better. And then last year, the kids asked me when school first started, are we doing the blog this year?
That's cool.
So they started to get into, and over the summer, kids went back and answered questions from previous blogs and went back in and started looking at artwork that they maybe looked at before and they thought of something else, or so it's starting to grow. So that's, I guess, no one has a negative attitude about doing it. So that's what I love about it too. So. Every month, the local gallery that we use to get the images from, the artwork, the pieces, I would choose one for, and it just mostly was, I would pull up the page and go, oh my gosh, that's the one. You know, it wasn't for any particular reason, it's just the one that caught me first. And I would include the image and I would ask them 2 or 3 questions. And it just depended on what the image was, what I would ask them. There was one I think of specifically was a photograph of this railroad track, and it was just this out there kind of black and white, barren, nothing going on. And the question was, what's happening here? Or what has just happened here? And so the kids have to write some, you know, series of events, and I would often ask them, if you could change something about this, what would you change? Or if you could add something to this, what would you add? Would you do it the same way? What do you think this is made of? And again, it was just a way for them to investigate the artwork and come up with some of their own ideas, and they were able to use their own voice even at the age of 9 and 10 and 11, and they had an opportunity to dialogue with the artists sometimes, because the artists would chime in, because the information, my blog would go out to all of the Oxide Gallery followers. The owner would send it out to them and say, hey, the blog is up at Cross Oaks Elementary. And we had community members talking to my kids, and we had kids answering questions and artists answering questions, and they were making connections with people outside of our building through the blog. So it was way bigger than just looking at art. It was giving these kids a voice through that with our community.
School?
I think so. There were conversations. My classroom's loud. I'm that person. It's rarely quiet in there. I usually have music going on and kids are talking while they're working and that kind of thing. And conversations were happening among kids that had to do with the artwork they had seen on the blog or what they posted on or said about it. And I am a working artist and had work at the Oxide quite a bit, and would go to the gallery openings and the events, and people would say, you're the lady that does the blog. Oh my gosh, I saw that kid's comment about this, or I saw this happening with this. And you know, it just kind of, it rolled into itself and became something that even as grown adults, they were like, I can't wait till the next blog, I can't wait till this is happening next. So I feel like it kind of opened that door a little bit, I guess, with my kids, and then the separate group that has nothing to do with these particular kiddos, and it kind of brought them together. Oh, absolutely. I've actually talked this year with the elementary art teachers in Denton ISD are very close. We get together and make art. We get together and go and see art, and we do a lot as a group. And we've talked about possibly having our kids do this community blog where kids from schools all over Denton are reacting and commenting, and as a school community, as a big giant community, doing the same thing, but among groups within the classrooms, so that you have, again, that community connection where our kids may not ever know the kids out at EP Razor or Newton Razor or Lee or any of those other schools, because they kind of live here. We're very separate from Denton proper, and that would give them a way to just have that dialogue, kid-to-kid dialogue, which is so different than kid-to-adult dialogue and adult-to-kid dialogue. And that's kind of what is rolling out next if I can get people on board. And there's some people interested, so that's kind of where we're going. That's what we're trying to do anyway. So we'll see.
Well, are there any other thoughts about blogging and building community?
I think people are fearful of starting blogs. I am that person that's probably, I'm more technology happy than a lot of people are, but I'm not at the top end either. And it was something that once I discovered how easy it was to get it going, it doesn't have to be this impossible task. I post a photo, 3 questions, and say go. And then my kids go. And so it doesn't have to be this overly involved, insanely time-consuming thing, and I think a lot of people think that it is. And you just have to do it, you know? You just have to take step 1, and then it kind of happens. And I wish I could promote that better. Like, I wish I could have more people active in that way. It's such a great avenue, again, especially for that voice of a child, because they can just type it out, and there's no fears. Convincing my kids that it was okay for them to say they didn't like it, as long as they told me why. That was what it was. It's okay to not like it, but if you can't justify that, then, you know, so they're learning how to speak in that way, and it's just, I haven't found another way to do that in my 14 years of education. I have not found a way to make a child comfortable saying, I disagree with you. And that did it for me. So it's worth it. It's such a cool thing.